Hi, welcome to Future Tailors in Amsterdam. I'm Ubi Defeo and I will be hosting this video, which is the first of hopefully a longer series. And I know that it feels stupid talking to a camera and a microphone, but if so many people are doing it, then I'm not the only one. I feel less stupid. This video is going to be about some progress that I've been doing on my custom parts for the Gameboy Zero. If you don't know what the Gameboy Zero is, I advise you look it up. It's essentially a modification that you do to a Game Boy case in order to stuff a Raspberry Pi in it, well, namely a Raspberry Pi Zero. That's where the name comes from. And this Raspberry Pi runs all sorts of emulators. These emulators range from Dreamcast to PlayStation Portable to PlayStation 1 and others, and of course all the main project emulators. The reason why I started making this mod, well, actually this custom parts, which is what I'm going to talk to you about, is because I saw some forums online while I was just hopping from newsfeed to newsfeed, and some of these mods that I saw were basically custom-made PCBs, and one of them is this Super AIO, which stands for All-in-One, designed by well, this is going to be quite a difficult one. Giles Burgess, I think. Not sure how to pronounce that. And he goes by the name Kite. So this is a previous design that he made, and I think it's fantastic. What he's done compared to other modders who design their own PCBs is that he made his own display driver on this PCB. So you could use a 320 by 240 or even a bigger display in full screen resolution with pixel sharp definition and high frame rate. Of course, this uses many pins from the Raspberry Pi, but this design is really well made. It's also included an 80 mega 32U4, I think. Can't be really sure. But all the specs are on the website. And a lot of other niceties. So you can have an analog joystick put in here. He's designed the board really thoroughly to fit in the original, or in this case a knockoff case of the Game Boy original, and you can see that it fits really nicely. All right. So what I really liked was the fact that he spent a lot of time making instructions for people to basically assemble their own unit, and these instructions are have been updated over time. Keep in mind that this unit has been designed in 2016, and I pre-ordered from the Sudomod forum in, I think it was November 2016, something like this. And after pre-ordering, it took, I think, a couple of months, because the guy actually built all he built all the interface. He built all the hardware himself, and it's assembled and everything, right? So he took pre-orders. He did the right way. No Kickstarter campaigns. No failure. It took the pre-orders, people agreed to pay money up front, and then it took the time to deliver the hardware. And the hardware came pretty quickly, actually, if you consider how complex these boards are. And I mean, it's really good job. So it took me quite a while, because when I received my board, I was about to leave on a trip to Copenhagen, which I take once a year. Sunday I'm off again. And I sent him an email thanking him for the shipment, and I said I'm gonna shoot a video about the assembly. But of course, you know, like I'm really awful at promising this kind of stuff, and it takes me months to deliver because of work and other life things. But this time, you know, I just at some time I didn't take any work from the beginning of the year, and I decided to just start assembling my unit after a year, pretty much. I got to assembling, and I had ordered this knockoff case. Just, you know, it's a cheap thing. You can get it on several things on eBay, several vendors. And I mean, this unit it's okay, you know, I could mess with it. I have two Game Boy original cases. Well, they're fully functional Game Boy original, and I don't want to take them apart. I really can't do that to, you know, to an original Game Boy. So I bought this one and I started cutting. You know, you have to go through a lot of modifications, and then I got to a point where in the instructions, of course I read all the instructions before starting, but I got to a point where it was asking me to glue the TFT display in place. And then I started thinking, I really don't like hot glue. I mean, I don't like kind of permanent solutions. And I know it's going to be really difficult that I end up having to take this thing apart, but I wanted to make something that was more designed and kind of thought than the original hot glue solution, which is great, by the way. I mean, a lot of people have been carrying on these mods. So I decided to go for sorry, I have OBS that kind of refuses to switch. I decided to go for a custom frame. Took me some trials. Yeah. Decided to go for this custom frame and make something that would fit nicely in the original case with very little modification, and I could glue this one in. So the next step is going to be me gluing this thing in a fixed location. And I didn't want to just pop the screen in, although it's possible. I wanted to, I mean, this is the orientation. I wanted to pop the screen in, but be able to remove it in at a later moment, right? At a later time. So I decided to go and design and 3D print some extra part, which would, this one is really delicate, which would hold the display in place and offer the screw posts to screw the back of the case in after modifying, because you can see there's cuts all over the place. So this is my kind of two parts display housing solution for the Gameboy Zero. The other thing that I did, I didn't like the fact that you were meant to kind of, you know, cut all these posts and send them, and, you know, it's kind of convoluted and a lot of stuff can go wrong. So I wanted to make a solution also to host the buttons, and the buttons are usually people 3D print the button wells and they align them and they glue them in, and because you need 2 extra buttons in most emulators, you need 4 buttons, and this is the page that I'm talking about. So people would 3D print these parts and align them with the holes that are pre-cut, pre-drilled, and enlarged and everything, and they would fit the buttons in. Well, my solution is a little different from that. Essentially, what I wanted to do was to have another removable part, which would just slide in and be aligned with the screen housing and everything. This one is really tight, by the way. I mean, I have a well-calibrated Ultimaker too, so The prints are good. The tolerances, I don't have to pay a lot of attention. I design, I print, and it fits. It may vary with your printer. So you can see that once the screen is in, don't mind the cut, I still haven't received my replacement screen in tough glass. But you can see that the buttons, the extra buttons, they fit really, really nicely. And the original ones, of course, they will fit in their original position. So will the cross joystick thing and the original start and select buttons. So all these designs are only possible because another person in the Sudomod forum took a lot of time to design his own Game Boy original case, and he made the files available, which is something that I haven't seen many people do in this communities of I don't know, like people who share Game Boy mods. I would really like to see more sharing of the models. I'm okay with people just selling 3D prints and mailing them to users who actually don't have a 3D printer, but why not make the models available? And that's what I've seen a lot of times. So people are kind of jealous of what they produce. Same goes for a lot of electronics that has been made, you know, like a button, PCBs, adapters, other types of adapters, battery step-ups, and all the other things. I tend to release everything, even if it takes me time. I tend to release everything that is not made for clients, and I've done it. I've done it in the past several times for electronics or 3D designs and printable stuff. I have a small, like, not really full. What's that website called? Can't remember the website where you share 3D models by the MakerBot guys. But I have some models there, and I put them there. I don't have a problem with sharing 3D designs. So what I want to do, I want to finish and refine these models, and then share them back with the community. So you can see that here I have modded the case. Oh, this is getting really slow, and I don't know if it's gonna reflect on the streaming, but this is really bad. It shouldn't happen like this. So no matter how fast a 3D card you have, this is going to be a disaster. But I wanted to share some of these designs and some of my process, so I think this will be enough. I don't need to spin the 3D model for you. So all these files, you can see these parts as well. They're going to be part of the shared designs, and they're going to be used to perfectly center the holes for Kite Super AIO unit. And well, I think this is it. I just wanted to give an update, and actually I wanted to test my OBS setup for streaming. I'm super proud of it. Took me a day and a half to set it up, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to record videos with this, so this may actually get erased later if it's jittery or it skips frames too much. But I mean, hopefully this is something that I get to do more often, and share more video content from Future Tailor Studio. I also plan on giving a tour of the studio and showing the tools that I use. So if you're interested in this kind of content, just let me know in the comments down there. I will post links in the description to Sudomod's forum, to Neolith post here, this one. And maybe you get interested in building your own Gameboy Zero modifications and 3D printable parts and share them back with the community. So from me, Ubi De Feo, and at Future Tailor Studio, this is This is it for today, and I'm off to Copenhagen in 2 days, so you're not going to be seeing or hearing from me for a couple of weeks, but I will hopefully come back. Thank you very much for your time, and well, see you next time.